Gimel says the Mechaber Moichel Pachas Mikizayis. If you're less than a Kizayis, Yesh Mishamer Sheitzarch Netila. Some say you don't even need Netilas Yadaim if you have one little dot of bread. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sivkot and Yod, you eat Pachas Mikizayis. Explains the Mishnah Berurah, the Shita that holds the Pachas Mikizayis, Einot Tzarech Netila, Sivkot and Yod. What's the reason it doesn't need Netila? Because Pachas Mikizayis is not considered eating. Vihine, says the Mishnah Berurah. Ataz Pasakin Ladina Dein Tzarech Netila, the Taz Paskins. You're eating less than a kizayis, you don't wash your hands. So we have a whole slew of Gedolei Paiskim that are teaching us less than a kizayis. There's no Netilas Yadaim. They argue. Less than a kizayis is din less than a kabeya, which is what, like we've seen, you wash your hands, but without a bracha. Okay, so paskins the Mishnah Berurah. One should be machmir. What would it mean to be machmir? It would mean to wash your hands. Vida, the Mishnah Berurah continues. The shir kizayis, the tzarech netila l'kulei alma. What is the shir that everyone's going to agree you have to wash your hands? And even if you have little bits that are mitzdarif, they combine to the shear. If all the little bits equal one beya, you don't have to even make a bracha. Let's say you have a little bit of bread, because the drink that you're having is very sharp. Even like once in ratio base. These are levarcha, as we'll see, a unique halacha, not really nageh in our world, but there was a mitzias that they would have a dot of bread to dampen the sharpness of the drink, and you wouldn't even have to make hamaitzi misham du tafel shtiyah. Believe it or not, even a hamaitzi at some point could become a tafel. Yesh aimrim, some hold the gam Netilas Yadaim mitzarach avim yesh by kebeya. V'yesh aim the tzarich. Ayin el Yerabo. With Pachas Mikizayis near the Yesh Elisma Shola Hatzich Netilah B'Zav L'Chatzchila. In this scenario, when you're eating just to remove the sharpness, then less than a Kizayis Mishmur would be makel not to wash your hands. B'Lav Achish Mekilin Kanal. Ach Kizayis a Kebeya Yitu Yadav Le'Varech Al Netilah Machmas Safik. If it's a Kizayis or a Beya, you would wash your hands due to the Safik. Now we have an interesting little footnote over here, which is based on the publisher over here, brings in a Mishnah Berurah from Siman Rishon Beis of Kotan Hey that says at the very bottom of your page, you shouldn't do what it says over there. Who could say that bread is really only because it's so sharp? So the Achronim say one should not get himself involved in this situation. We continue with Sif Dalet. Says the Mechaber Moichel Davar Shatibuloi Be'echa Misheva Mashkin. You eat something that is dipped in the 7 mashkin. What are these 7 mashkin? Shesimanim Yad Shachadam. The siman, the mnemonic to remember the 7 mashkin is Yad Shachadam. What is Yad Shachadam? The Hainu Yayin Dvash. Shemin. As we turn over the page over here, we're up to the ches of shachat, which is going to be chalav, tal, adam, and mayim. If you dip something in these 7 liquids, and you don't dry your hands, even if your hands don't actually touch the liquid, sarach netila b'loy bracha. And of course, this harkens us to the Leil Seder to Karpas. Says the Ramav, afilu in metabel rakuroisha yarik, only the top, the head of the vegetables dipped. Oyapri afilu achi yital beloy bracha. So says the Mishnah Berurah over here, Sefkatin Aleph, when you're eating davar which is dipped, haynu afilu yarik peiros basar, fruit, vegetables, and meat. Normally on fruit, there's no washing your hands. The reason is because the peiros, the fruits, would never become tummy from your hands. Why would the fruit not become tummy from your hands? Explains the Mishnah Berurah, because the level of tumah of your hands are secondary levels of tumah. Vein sheni as the shishi b'chulin. The halacha is there's never a shlishi that could be created with chulin. So therefore, what's the difference if you're dipping it? When you're dipping in a liquid, liquids are a conduit for toma, so much so that it can even create a rishon la toma. Meaning, your hands which are sheni, which touch something of a liquid, creates a rishon. Netilas Yadaim, that's why you wash your hands. Al yadam, because the liquid should not become tamei. Visu acher gam ha'eichel. Shetibulus if got in your base. V'oises sheshoikin peiros a yarg b'mayim l'nakaisam. You wash all fruits and vegetables. Chashav tibulu mashke that is considered something that is dipped. Davashin darkel l'tavel elios lo mashke. So that's not the derech. Ain't zar Netilas Yadaim. The milslo shechachiv lo goes v'irabanan. That's not common. There's no gezerah. So over here, this is not a practical. Are you dipping? These are entities which are normally dipped. If you dip your finger in the liquid and you lick it off, you don't have to wash your hands. So take Netilas Yadaim. What's the reason? Because they were not misakin Netilas Yadaim the shtiyas hamashkem k'dukamei b'sevav. And in what liquids you have to dip? Echad b'shiva hamashkin sefkatin yebeiz avol shar mina mashkin v'neschatim min ha'peiros in chashuv mashkin. Nothing else is considered mashke. Devash, what type of honey sifkatin yudalit says the Mishna Berurah? It's referring to devash, devayim of bees, lo shel tamar, lo shel minach. Kasu ha'paiskim, kol ha'mashkim shenik rishu, any liquid that congealed. Bein alidei bishol, bein alidei tzina, whether it's via the cold or via cooking. Achein bon tefecha menas latfiach, it doesn't make something else wet. Loi chashivi mashke. But that's not taisus. Shevil chaziv v'nimur kachach, let's say afterwards it melts. Still does not get the status of a liquid. Zulas yayin oibayim hu adin cholav shenikva milk as well that's frozen. When it defrosts, it gets the status of a mashke. Lefizeh mirkachas ametugam b'dvash. You dip a cracker in honey in madvash aleim karush. It's thick. Until you don't have to wash your hands. That's considered a mashke. This is a honey which is made to eat and a drink. It's going to be shema oichel love, so to be a machlaik as whether it actually gets the status of a liquid. It's mixed with the wax. To fry with it, never was a liquid. It's made a drink called med. They created it into a drink, then you dip into it. I'm talking about ichal. Even if you're using it for frying. Let's say with a fork, and of course this is the big heter over here. The things that you normally eat with a fork will not have to wash your hands prior. Because sugar is not a mashke. Shemin sefkat tatzvano shemin zayis. Umashma, as we conclude, the shar shemanim ino bechlal mashke, says Mishna Berurah, other oils are not considered a mashke with regard to this halacha. We are going to finish up the sif in the next year. But before we finish up, let's take a moment to look at the dirshus over here. Note number 17 points out, what if one washes his hands and he plans on eating a regular share of bread? This goes back to the first part of today's share. But he wants to eat a little bit of bread. He wants to have a little nibble. And that te'ima is within the amount of time he's going to eat afterwards, says the Arla Tzion. Even though they hold that you don't have to wash your hands for pachas bekazayis, in this case you would, because you're going to eventually eat more. Therefore they are mitzdarif one to the other. One to the other. We'll pause over here and we'll pick it up from the end of the Ramah, end of the Sif, which he discusses a little bit more about foods that are dipped into the Zayim Mashkin b'siyata dishmayo.